Greetings YouTube, it is I, coming with an installment of Total Brohammer here. A little 1v1 action. I myself am heading the Bretonnians of Fake France against the Black Company, who is heading the Empire in a really, kind of fun human-on-human matchup. And I even like the build they brought, like in terms of flavor. A lot of guns, very mechanized, which is the opposite of us noble and proud Bretonnians. Although of course the majority of these guys are just disgusting peasants. Why can't I see the bar? Whatever. Anyway, so what did I bring? I have Bretonnia, 1 spearman armed with shields, 2 spearmen armed with shields, 3 spearmen armed with shields, 4 spearmen armed with shields. That's because obviously the infantry sucks for Bretonnia. If they bring 1 greatsword, they will slash through everything I can bring. But spearmen are good just because if they do bring cav, you have a little bit of an answer to it. Then I have a couple of battle pilgrims who I chevroned up. I just wanted to try that out, see what that would be like. And they have really good stats chevroned up. They have 46 melee attack, 40 melee defense, and 98 leadership. So they simply won't break. And 35 weapon strength isn't terrible. Of course, they really have, I think they have weak armor piercing values, 7. So again, against greatswords, they will melt. But hey, they're going to be a very, very good, like almost flagellant-esque standing force, but they have shields and a little bit of armor, so even maybe better than flagellants. Then I have 2 pox arrow bowmen. I don't think fire arrows are going to do any good in this one because they're weak against armor, and the regular arrows aren't really going to do anything other than counter snipe, but not many people bring gunners anymore and the other things that the cav have to worry about, so I just figured pox arrows will be good to slow everything down and again hopefully help my front line last a little bit longer than normal due to the debuffs. And then of course I brought my classic cav build, which is 1 Knights of the Realm and 1 Grail Knight, and I brought two contingents of that, 1 on each flank. And then the lady, I brought her with Dwellers Below and Earthblood. Oh no, just Awakening of the Wood this time and Earthblood, but I do like to bring her with Dwellers Below. So that's my army. Over here, my opponent brought some Outriders, which is a very solid pick. Pistoliers, another, not a bad pick. I'm not really certain what the Pistoliers will do in this matchup, but, we'll see. Grenade Launcher, which is cool. Very, very cool unit. And it will just wreck my infantry. Again, you're probably more worried about cav in this matchup as Empire, but yeah, that's not a bad move. Reichsguard, solid unit. They actually don't do terribly against Grail Knights. They'll do, they'll do about half damage health, which a little bit more, which isn't great, of course. But oh no, that's the Regiment Renown. So actually, these guys will get crushed by Grail Knights. Well, I'm lying to you. The Regiment Renown will do okay, but again, I guess with the price difference, not that great. Knights of the Blazing Sun on the charge will do really well if you can get them in and out fast enough. Knights of the Blazing Sun, 2 of them, and I think some of my units have physical resists. No, yeah, the Grail Knights do. So actually the fire damage, I'm not sure if it bypasses physical resistance or not. I don't know if it does. Witch Hunter, solid pick, because each shot will probably take out a model of cav. Hammer of Witches, also a very good pick against cav, and then he brought some spears. So let's get started. And then who's this here? Balthazar Gelt on a horse, and what does he have? Just Final Transmutation, looks like. Or is that yeah. Transmutation of Lead, rather. And Foul Transmutation. Ooh, very expensive spells. And Plague of Rest. So you won't be able to cast both those. But anyways, as you can see here, right away we get a nice little volley off of the Outriders. Hammer, which is going to be firing away. We'll see how that goes. Over here I'm charging my infantry around. He does pop, I don't know, something. Who knows? He is moving his cav back. Obviously needs to do that. He also has a Hellblaster volley gun, which is cool. It didn't really mark that. It is going to blow into my... it's going to, wreck my infantry, but these are, filthy peasants. They're not even worth the bullets he's wasting, so I'm fine with that. Over here, nice grenade launcher. As you can see, there's cool pox arrows, but there's that green effect just coming in like laser beams. Looks kind of strange considering it's peasants, but hey, he brings his cav in here trying to get a nice charge in, but I am able to ward him off with the spearman. He probably just charged into the spearman, done some damage and gotten out instead of just, pussyfooting. Over here, I'm moving my cav around the flanks. This cav I bring in, they are getting hit by the Hammer of Witches, which is concerning. Because again, that's each time it's a model gone, so I can't heal. Over here in the front, we have engaged. My infantry will actually win, which is something you'll almost never hear from Bretonnia because he brought no great swords. He does cast Final Transmutation, which is a strange move considering there's no single entity models. Maybe he's not really sure how that spell works, but anyways. I do get the pox arrows into a nice position to fire on the Hammer of Witches, so they're doing some good damage. I am bringing my cav over here. It's going to ward us off with some spears and cav. But I'm pushing on both flanks here, and the center engagement, I set my battle pilgrims. I am just trying to charge these spearmen at these grenade launchers and pistoliers. Again, these filthy peasants aren't worth the bullets that they're firing at them. There's nothing greater for a Bretonnian peasant than to die shielding a knight. So they are fulfilling their duty over here, so that's good news. Over here, he brings his cav. I don't want to engage. I mean, I could probably wreck that cav very quickly and take a little bit of damage from the spearman. I'm like, nah, whatever. He's putting so many resources over here. Well, I feel like I'm winning these flanks. I don't mind. So I don't mind just sort of looping around here. As you can see, my battle programs are cutting through these spearmen. He does get a J'accuse on the Fey Enchantress, but she can heal, so that's not the end of the world. He brings these Pistoliers in the back to get rid of my spearmen, or my filthy peasant archers, and they will rout because that is what peasants are known to do. But over here, my men-at-arms mixed in with my battle programs are going to triumph, and they're going to push through. I send the Fey Enchantress to get a nice hit on the Witch Hunter, and then I think I cast an Earthblood. No, there comes an Earthblood. He does cast Final Transmutation though, so he's going to do a lot of damage. That's such a good spell. He's just going to start doing some crazy damage to the Fey Enchantress, but she is healing to combat it. And I am kicking the guy's ass, but the Pistoliers come in, they get a lot of damage on the Fey Enchantress, but my Battle Homes are in here to come protect her, so this is kind of like a dangerous fight because she's getting hurt between the J'accuse and the Hammer of Witches. Oh my god, it's just really putting the hurt on her, so she actually starts to run. And these Pistoliers can easily chase her off the field. Luckily I have these box arrows back. But and the Hellblaster Faller was firing at her. Jesus, really, she got the business. Oh my god, and she gets hit by another cannon. Leave her alone. But yeah, they just give her the business. What opponent should have done here is just chased her off with these Pistoliers. I think he does try to do that. He does. He goes after her, but she ends up shattering, so she's gone. So the Fey Enchantress is gone, and the balance bar is still even. So that's not great for me. However, my knights have broken through, and they're fighting his knights in a prolonged engagement with the help of Receiver, so we'll win that. I guess I lose micro on these guys for a second. They get a nice charge. He brings in some gunners around here. I've been, you know, juking these spearmen for a while now, but I have my other contingent of cav coming in finally. Over here, I'm shooting at Balthazar Gelt because, you know, he's pretty, for the lore of metal, he has pretty weak armor, 20, and he is still a wizard, so we're getting some good damage on him. He can start casting spells. Plague of who knows what that is. Transmutation of Lead, that's a good spell, so it's going to be debuffing us, and it's going to help his cav actually win the engagement here. But here comes the ride of the Rohirrim, the relief force here. Look at this! Wow! Oh my God, that's so glorious! And they're just going to ride right into these guys. Oh, he fucks that guy right off the horse. Oh, glorious! Look at those fire lances versus the magic lances. Ooh, great stuff there. Beautiful charge, and then, you know, these guys are perfectly healthy. I've lost all my healing, but they're perfectly healthy. They haven't really been fighting much, so they're active, they're confident. I'm pretty sure Knights of the Grail Knights never tire because they're living saints. That's their ability, so yeah, so they're just going to crush this cav, and they're just going to roll through them like butter, so that is just so cool. I just love that. They just rode right over the hill, and just as the relief force, just when things were looking bad, the Fey Enchantress had fled. They were doing okay in the battle. Balthazar Gelt was over there, you know, doing his best impression of just a genocidal maniac, casting Transmutation of Lead and Final Transmutation everywhere, just murdering left and right. But the Grail Knights, along with the Knights of the Realm, relief force, have ridden over the hill, and they have essentially swung the battle in my favor. At this point, it's kind of over. His cav is dead, and there's not enough guns to put them down. So they're just going to ride over the remaining forces of the Empire. And today shall be a victory for the I was about to speed it up, but there we go. Army losses kick in, and shall be a glorious victory for Bretonnia, which is actually John and I played this matchup yesterday, and surprisingly, it is a hard matchup for the Empire. At the beginning of Warhammer 2, it very much heavily favored the Empire, I think, but I think now it's sort of gotten to a point where Bretonnia does have the advantage because Bretonnia can go very wide, and their cav is better. So you can get more infantry, you can get bows, and you can get better cav, and basically the Empire does have better infantry and more tools, I suppose, but their tools just aren't. There's no effective combination that we've found that really gives the Empire a heavy edge. But anyways, yeah, fun battle, really cool, really not flavorful, really cinematic. That last charge, I love it. And then yeah, cool like composition here. I mean, Pistoliers, I don't think you need them. I think you drop the Pistoliers. I don't think that they have a purpose in this matchup. I think you drop the Pistoliers and you bring one Greatsword, and that would help them hold the front line much better. And the thing about Greatswords is that if you can pin down his cav, they'll do well against the cav in prolonged fighting. Because they have that armor piercing, right? And the cav doesn't have the most models. Pardon me. Cav units don't have that many models, rather. So Greatswords can do really well against cav in prolonged combat. Of course, pinning them down is easier said than done, but yeah, I actually don't mind the pick of Balthazar Gelt in this matchup. I actually think it's a good one, only because if you get that cav bunched up, and you cast a Final Transmutation on them, it will just, it'll put them down in a hurry. So yeah, I don't mind Battlestar Gelt. I think the Witch Hunters can be a very solid pick as well in this matchup because his bullets will just wreck cav units. And again, every unit they lose is one that cannot be healed. So that's solid. Knights of the Blazing Sun, I don't know who does better between them or the Reichsguard in a straight up battle against Grail Knights. Obviously off the charge, Knights of the Blazing Sun will perform a little bit better. Prolonged combat, I assume Reichsguard will, but again, they're both going to melt to Knights of the Realm and probably Grail Knights because of that bonus versus large. And then Outriders are solid in this pick, but I think, as we discovered when John and I played this one, Outriders have trouble in this matchup only because you're going to be having a lot of cav-on-cav engagements, and they just don't do that well shooting into those blobs, which makes sense because they're similarly sized units, right? They're not archers, they're gunners, so they need a clear line of sight. So if the cav's fighting infantry, they can shoot right over because the cav is bigger. But if they're fighting other cav, they have difficulty hitting them. So yeah, that's the situation. And then Hellblaster Running Gun's kind of fun, and so is the Ember, which is actually can be a good pick only because it knocks out models, but it's hard to defend, and Bretonnia's going to go very wide. I don't know if I agree with that necessarily. I think you got to go, if you're Empire, and we're going to start trying this, John and I, to see a good composition. I think if you're Empire, you go Cheap Lord. I think Witch Hunter you cannot bring up to you. You bring a lot of spears. You bring Flagellants just to hold. And I think you bring some guns. That's what I would bring. Outriders or anything, and just try and hold as long as you can. Maybe one unit of cav just to if they get in the back line, but I think that you're wasting your time. I think you just have to try and hold as long as you can, keep it nice and tight, almost like a dwarf box, and just try and whittle away every time they come in with a silver bullets. Just try and, because they will do a ton of damage in very short order, and of course they have stock, so as long as they don't get seen by the archers, they can do all right. But I don't know, it's a difficult matchup, but it's not impossible. I'm sure there's a lot of ways. Anyways, we're talking a long time. Thanks for joining me for another installment of Total Brohammer, and hope to see you around the bend.